Welcome back to week 4 of On Top the Cage. My co-host Dan, I am Ken. How you doing?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing good. We are on sports overload right now. With the COVID pandemic happening, a lot of these other seasons got pushed back. The NBA finals start tonight. The Major League Baseball playoffs have started. College football is starting to kind of bloom. The ACC's been playing for a while. This is week 2 of the SEC. We get the Big Ten back later in October. Speaking of that, we're going to give our listeners and viewers a bonus pick this week. We're going to pick a college football game. There's a pretty good ranked matchup we'll talk about a little later. Although there's a lot of sports viewing options out there, did you get a chance to watch a presidential debate last night?
Absolutely, because the Indians were getting drilled. I watched that train wreck called a debate. It was disgusting the way the two of those guys acted.
It was an absolute mess. What it reminded me of, I have 4 boys. It reminded me of like 3 or 4 years ago when all 4 of the boys were at the table. There was name calling. There was talking over each other. There was all this stuff that went on. So it reminded me of that.
It reminded me of when Mean Gene Okerlund used to interview those guys for the WWF. He should have been the moderator, but he's passed away.
Yeah, we need a different moderator.
Yeah.
We need like a Samuel L. Jackson.
Absolutely.
Like a strapped up Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
Like his character Jules from Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
Say what again?
That would be better than what happened last night.
If we get Sam Jackson to be the moderator, I think we got a pay-per-view event.
Could be, yeah.
All right, we got a lot to get to. Last week, we were both 9-7, stacking positive weeks again. That makes Dan and I both 28, 18, and 2 on the year, plus 10. Very good numbers. Last week, my picks that went wrong. I didn't make any friends with my family or my Bear brethren. I picked against the Dolphins last week. My wife's team, the in-laws team, they went down to Jacksonville Thursday night, or up to Jacksonville, I should say, and beat them soundly. I picked against my Bears. I got a ton of heat from my Bear brethren, my Bear friends, in regards to that, as obviously we all saw them find a way to win again. I think the only person I made happy was my brother-in-law, sister. There are 3 girls down southern part of the state. They live near Dayton. My brother-in-law grew up. You're not gonna like to hear this. My brother-in-law grew up just outside of Pittsburgh, so he's a Steelers fan. All of his daughters are like legit football fans. No small feat in itself to accomplish that. But anyway, I think he's the only one that I made happy in regards to the picks last week, because I think I've consistently picked the Steelers throughout the first 3 weeks. I think that's it. Anything else we need to cover before we start picking the slate of games?
I don't think so.
All right. Thursday night football. We talked about there being lots of viewing options on television. I'm not sure if this one's going to fall into the priority list of watching. The winless Denver Broncos go to play the winless New York Jets. The line is -2 right now. The over-under is 40. The Broncos are starting their 3rd quarterback in 4 weeks. His name is, I think it's Brett Rippin. He is a rookie out of Boise State. Obviously, the Jets are the Jets. What are your thoughts on this game, Dan?
This game, so we should pick the over and under on when Gase gets fired, because he ain't going to make it after this one, even if they win. It has to be a blowout in my mind for them to keep Gase around, because they're a train wreck. They don't even look like an NFL team. They look worse than my Browns have looked for years. It's so bad.
Yeah, it's tough to put that lipstick on the pig, and I think you're right. You were stomping for Greg Williams from almost the opening week of our podcast here. You're right. Certainly if the Jets lose this week, you got a coaching change. It's probably Greg Williams, and the reason why I say that is they have the 3 extra days. They play on Thursday night. They won't play until the following Sunday. I'm going to be completely upfront with our viewers, our listeners. I have no idea who's going to win this game.
Yeah.
You want to go first? What do you got?
I'm seeing Sam Darnold from back in his USC days throwing pick sixes.
3 of them last week,
yeah,
or 2 pick sixes, 3 interceptions last week.
So this game, I don't know.
Who you got?
I'm going with the Broncos.
I'm going to go with the Jets. I don't want to. I've bashed on them, all 3 weeks so far. They have the better quarterback in Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold's going into year 3. we'll talk about Trubisky and what happened there, but this
He's
is
got no offensive line. He's got nothing.
this is a tail
Running
tail
back's
year
not
for him.
playing.
All right, enough of that game.
The only thing worth watching this game for is the left tackle, that Mekhi Becton.
Becton, yeah, he's a pretty good player. You can see it already on the film,
Yeah.
on the tape. All right, we're in disagreement on the first week. Reluctantly, I take the Jets and the 2 points. Dan is on the Broncos -2. Next game up, the 2-1 Colts travel to play my Chicago Football Bears. The Colts are -3 in this game. Both teams have played pretty soft schedules to date. The Colts had the Jaguars. Obviously, they beat the Jets last week. In between, they had the Vikings. The Bears played the Lions. They've also had the Giants on their schedule, and they found a way to win all these games, and they won again last week down in Atlanta. Bears at 3-0. The Lions Colts -3. Over/under is 45. Go ahead, Dan. What do you think?
The Colts haven't impressed me at all this year. I'm taking the Bears at home. New quarterback. You got the quarterback change. Hopefully that brings some emotion from, their big win last week. So I'm taking the Bears in this one.
I agree with you. I think this is a good money line play, actually. I know I'm a Bear fan, so take it for what it's worth. I like the Bears on the money line. I like them to win this game outright. Dan touched on it just a second ago. There has been a quarterback change. The plug was pulled on Mitchell Trubisky at the start of the third quarter last week down in Atlanta. They were down pretty big. He threw a pick. The Foles era in Chicago has started. I think that might breathe some more life into the Bear offense. Maybe there's some more confidence with the rest of the other playmakers on the team. So we'll see. I like the Bears to win this game outright. Dan and I are both in agreement taking the points on this game. Next game we have is the New Orleans Saints. They go and play the Detroit Lions. The Saints are -4. It seems like a small line just based upon the history of these two teams. The over-under is 45. Last week, the Saints on Sunday night.
54.
What?
You said it.
Oh, I did. I got the last one. You're right. It's 54. Yes, 54. My bad. Last week, the Saints, they lost on Sunday Night Football, the Packers. We'll talk about Aaron Rodgers later. They don't look particularly good on either side of the ball to me, defense or offense. I know they're missing Michael Thomas still. The Lions coming off a huge win last week out in Arizona, a shocking win. Murray threw a few interceptions. They got Galladay back. The Saints are -4. I have a hard time doing this. I'm going to take the points of the Lions. I am. I think they're going to ride some confidence. We'll see. I don't know if it's going to be a popular pick, but I'm going to take the points with the Lions getting 4.
This one's tough. I mean, I was not impressed with how Drew Brees played. I don't know if he can throw it accurate over 20 yards anymore.
You think Brees taking a step back?
Yeah, I think so. After that last game, Detroit, though, I'm not sold on Detroit, but, they're playing at home after that win. I think Detroit's going to come out with a victory here on Sunday over the Saints.
You think they're going to, not only they're going to get underneath the number, you think Detroit's, Dan likes money line on the Lions. I'm not that confident. I think this game comes down the wire. Hopefully it's a field goal game. I think the Lions are going to get under the 4 number, so we're both on the Lions. Arizona Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals go and play the Carolina Panthers. The Arizona Cardinals are -3.5. The over-under on this game is 52. The Cardinals. We just talked about the Lions. The Lions went out to Arizona. The Cardinals are kind of back to earth.
Yeah.
I told you last week they were the team that I was most impressed by because they went out to San Francisco. They beat them. They absolutely destroyed Washington the previous week here now. And then they kind of lay this egg against the Lions, I guess. The Panthers, on the other hand, they went out and won a game in San Diego. Probably maybe my best pick of last week. I thought Herbert was young. He may make a mistake or two. That's what happened.
He's got a whole week to worry about this game.
Yeah.
Instead of 5 minutes.
I tell you what, I'll go first on this game. I like the Cardinals, and I like them a lot to bounce back in this game. It's probably my favorite line on the board this week. So I'm a big fan of the Cardinals -3.5. What do you think, Dan?
I'm taking the Cardinals on this one, too. I think they bounce back. Murray's hard to stop with the weapons they got. I think they're going to have a good showing here against the Panthers, and I'm going with the Cardinals.
All right, we are in agreement on that one. The Jacksonville Jaguars, they go to play the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals are -3. The over/under on this game is 49. The Jags, I mean, they had a pretty pathetic performance. It seemed like on Thursday night against the lost team, the Dolphins. They did. I mean, we had talked about them the previous week, like, hey, they're not tanking. They look pretty good. They're piecing this thing together, and all the pieces kind of crumbled last week against the Dolphins. They scored lots of points the Dolphins scored lots of points on them. They didn't score a lot of points. On the other hand, the Bengals. I know we're both fans of Joe Burrow.
I'm taking. This is Joe Burrow's first victory. I'm taking it. I'm taking the Bengals on this one. He should have had a victory last week.
It was about 14 seconds away. I know Philadelphia scored that late touchdown.
He's going to get one this week, and I'm glad it's going to come, on his home field in Cincinnati. I know, in Ohio they can have 6,000 fans there. So I'm taking the Bengals on this one.
I tell you what, we talked about the previous week. Mike Brown, please invest in the offensive line for Joe Burrow. He's clearly a player. He made, there was a couple of wow moments for him. One of the wow moments for me, I text you. I'm like, holy crap, Joe Burrow may be dead. He got hit in the chest so hard. And I know you texted back and you weren't watching the game. You're like, is he out? Is he hurt? What's the deal? I'm like, and no, I think he's back in the game. So we both are big believers in Burrow. We're both on the Bengals minus the 3 points. Next game up on the slate, the Cleveland Browns go to play the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys minus 4.5, expecting a lot of points in this game as well. 56. The Browns are 2-1. The Cowboys are 1-2, leading their division in a very, very poor NFC East. I'm going to let you take the lead on this team since it's your team, or lead on this game.
I'm torn on this one. They got to go to Dallas. Dallas has a ton of weapons on offense. Dak Prescott has been throwing the ball. He looks pretty good there.
The defense stinks, though.
Their defense stinks, but I don't think our defense has played that well either. Our cornerbacks are hurt, our linebackers. We got a lot of guys banged up in that secondary. So, if we can pound the rock, keep it away from Dallas, run the clock, play some old school football and hit maybe a couple big ones to Jarvis or Odell. I don't know on this one. 4.5.
What's the call?
I think the Browns win, but I don't
Win?
think they're going to cover this. So
You think they win? No, they're getting the 4.5. You think they're going to win the game outright?
No, I'm going with the Cowboys.
You're going to give the 4.5 points?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm going with the Cowboys.
I'm going to go the other way. And you mentioned the recipe. I think the recipe for the Browns to keep this game under the 4.5 number is their running game. We talked about them as the best tandem running backs. If they can run the ball, control the clock, keep Dak Prescott and that crew, of CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper and Ezekiel, they can keep them off the field as much as possible. I like them to stay under the 4.5 number. I am on the Browns getting the points of 4.5. Next game up, the Minnesota Vikings go to play the Houston Texans. The Texans are minus 3.5. The over-under on this game is 54. I'm going to refer to this game. Both these teams are 0-3 and both decent teams had high hopes to start the season. I'm going to refer to this game as the loser goes home game because you go 0-4, there's absolutely no recovering from that hole. Neither team has looked very good, frankly. Justin Jefferson got involved for the Vikings last week with a huge game. Dalvin Cook ran the ball. There was a ton of field goals. Tennessee nipped him at the buzzer, I guess, last week. The Texans, obviously we talked about their murderous row schedule. Last week they lost in Pittsburgh. The Lions-Texans minus 3.5. I'm going to take the Texans. I like Deshaun Watson at the end of the game better than I like Kirk Cousins. I'm going to lay the points, lay the 3.5 with the Texans.
I'm going with the Texans as well, just because they've had a brutal schedule. The first 3 games versus Minnesota just doesn't look good.
It's a straight-up must-win for both teams.
Yeah. So the Texans, basically all they got to do is stop the run and score some points. And I think they're going to walk away a victor in this one. So I'm going with the Texans.
He likes the Texans. We both on the Texans minus 3.5. Next game up on the slate, the Seattle Seahawks go down to Miami. The Seahawks are minus 6.5. The over-under on this game is 54.5. Both teams coming off big wins. Miami with a large difference in victory over the Jags. The Seahawks held on against the Dallas Cowboys, the aforementioned Dallas Cowboys. I know how much you like the Seahawks. I think the MVP of the league right now is certainly Russell Wilson. He's playing incredible ball. The Dolphins' defense that they invested so much in the offseason showed up last week. It's hot down there. There's a lot of factors involved here. I still think I'm going to lay the Seahawks. I'm going against your in-laws again. I'm going to lay the 6.5. I think the Seahawks find a way to win this game by 7, 10 points. Russell Wilson is just playing too well for me to pick against them.
Yeah, no offense to the family members here, but the Seahawks are going down to Miami and going to be on vacation. They're taking this game.
All right, we're both in agreement on the Seahawks. The Los Angeles Chargers go to play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa Bay Buccaneers are -7.5. The over/under on this game is 44.5. Justin Herbert will start again for the LA Chargers. And when I say that, and I was thinking Tom Brady at the same time when I said it, he's probably half the age of Tom Brady. Tom Brady could be Justin Herbert's dad.
Maybe. I mean,
did you see the end of the Charger game? Excuse me, the end of the Charger game against Carolina last week?
No.
Oh my God, they ran a perfect hook and lateral play. It was going to score. And the pitch was perfect. The guy dropped it. I think it was Eckler who dropped it.
Oh,
they would have won the game.
I did see that. You're talking
I haven't seen someone try to run a hook and lateral in a long time, and it was there. It was absolutely there. Unfortunately, it did not happen for them. Bucks are -7.5. You know, the Chargers. The line that makes me nervous about this. I would always pick I think the Buccaneers, or I was leaning the Buccaneers in this game, but I keep on remembering back that, and I have no idea how they did it. How LA was able to keep the Chiefs in check a couple of weeks ago. I have no idea how they did it. I'll let you take the lead on this game. Who do you like? The Bucks -7.5?
I'm going with the Bucks. Yeah, you got a rookie against a seasoned veteran in Brady. You know, they're working stuff out still. I think they're going to keep improving. This is still preseason, and this is going to be a preseason game for them, in my opinion.
I don't think it's that easy, although I'm gonna lay the 7.5 as well. We're both on the Tampa Bay Bucks. Next game up, the Pittsburgh Steelers go to play the Tennessee Titans. This game is affected by COVID. We shoot on Wednesday of the football week. It got announced today. Oh, obviously the Titans have a few positive COVID tests on their team. They're going to try to play this game Monday or Tuesday. If you can still get the line, the Steelers -1, I'm going to tell you to go grab it because I think the line's going to balloon. The Titans aren't even allowed in their practice facilities until Saturday.
Yeah, this is a no-brainer to take the Steelers if this is what the line is here.
I think it's pretty unfair right now, but that's what we're dealing with. I mean, everybody's got the same, playing field here, and if you test positive, it's difficult, but you got to play through it. The Steelers, they're a good balanced team if you ask me. The defense, I love the defense. The offense kind of doing well, work in progress, I certainly think that division, I know the Browns are in, I think they're a pretty good team. We all know the Ravens are a really good team. We'll talk to them what happened to them last week. I think the Steelers are going to cause problems for people come playoff time. It's cold, and that defense will travel. Anyway, I'm talking a lot about the Steelers. We both like the Steelers in this game. I think the line gets up to 2.5, 3, frankly, minus it. I would still lay it. I would lay up to a field goal on the Steelers. I like the Steelers certainly right now at the current line -1, as does my co-host Dan. Next game on the slate, the Baltimore Ravens go to play the Washington football team. They're about, 40 miles apart, I think. Obviously a big line. The Ravens are -13.5. The over-under in this game is 51. I would call it the Beltway battle. I think that's what they call it. Beltway. I don't know how much of a battle this game is going to be. The Ravens. What happened on Monday night? I'm going to pick the Chiefs until they play the Ravens, and then what happened?
Yeah, Mahomes made their defense look silly, and then hey, Lamar, it might be mental with him playing the Chiefs and going into halftime with a down on the scoreboard. He's not very good.
Chiefs went in that game and said, we're the champs until we're not the champs. Yeah. They certainly did, and it's a really big win. I know they don't play in the same division, but we talked last week, I think, about the format changing for the playoffs. There's only one bye for each of the NFC and the AFC this year. The rest are wild cards. So only one team gets that, first round bye, which is huge. I think certainly the Kansas City Chiefs and the Baltimore Ravens are probably the two best teams in the American Football Conference. They have the tiebreaker now. So it was a huge win for Kansas City. All right, this game's minus 13.5. Haskins, the Washington football team played your Browns last week. They had 4 turnovers. I don't know about Haskins. We'll see. The verdict is still certainly out on him. What do you think, Dan? You going to lay basically the 2 touchdowns?
Yeah, I'm taking the Ravens in this one.
So am I.
Washington didn't show me enough. Yeah, they got a good defensive line. Other than that, they're not very good at all.
I agree. They're a bad football team. The Ravens are a darn good football team. I think they come into this game, frankly, pissed off. And they want to have a better showing, certainly. We're both going to lay the almost 2 touchdowns. We're both on the Ravens minus 13.5. Next game up, the best team in the city of New York, the New York Giants. They go all the way across.
Why are they better?
They're better than the Jets. I hope. My goodness.
I don't know. I like the color green better than blue.
I tell you what, I don't know. The Rams, they are minus 12.5. The Giants had a pathetic performance last week against the B team. It wasn't even the 49ers that they played. It was like, 24 and a half.
Yeah.
It was like the San Francisco 24 and a half. They have like half their football team.
Right.
And they absolutely destroyed the Giants. The Rams, that was a great game on the slate last week. They went and played Buffalo. They were down huge. They were down 28-3. I think our Fred Teddy probably knows that score from some other game. We got to get the pot shots in. Anyway, they were down 28-3. They came all the way back. They were up 32-28. They gave a late touchdown to the Bills on what I think was probably a questionable pass interference call on the defense. In any event, water under the bridge. They lost the game. Rams are minus 12.5 against the Giants. The over-under is 48. What do you think?
I'm taking the Rams because they play really well against shitty teams.
Yeah, I think I'm going with you, and you've heard me say this probably at somewhat nauseum. I don't like laying all these points in the National Football League because all these teams, they're professional teams, they're good football teams. But I'm going to lay it again because I haven't seen enough from the Giants to make me think otherwise. I haven't seen enough from Daniel Jones. I know that the Giants organization was hoping that he was going to take this step forward this year in year 2. It hasn't happened.
Hasn't happened.
No. So until I see something more positive, until they
game's hurt.
Yeah, I'm taking one of your lines. Until the Giants play the Jets, I'll take the Giants.
I'm sure that's a Thursday night game, is it?
I don't know if they play. For the sake of the viewers, I hope not. All right, we are on to the New England Patriots. A pretty good game here. I don't know if it looked that good when the season started, but it certainly looks pretty good now. The New England Patriots, they go out to play the Kansas City Chiefs. We talked about, what the Chiefs did the Ravens last week. The Chiefs are minus 7. The over-under is 54. The Patriots, I guess we're going to find out this week how good they really are.
Yeah.
I mean, they had a good showing out in Seattle. They beat the Dolphins. They've taken care of their business. These are 2 3-0 teams.
3-0 teams, and they're going to Gillette, where...
No, they're in Kansas City.
Oh, that's right. They're in Kansas City.
No.
I'm taking the Chiefs. They're so impressive looking at them.
Last week, Belichick, they had another good. The Patriots stacked another good win last week when they beat the Raiders, and Belichick took away Darren Waller, the star tight end for the LA Raiders. He has a tendency to do that, take away the best player for the team, but I think there's too many playmakers on the Chiefs. I mean, maybe you do take away Kelsey this week, Belichick, but you got Hill, you got a layer. I mean, there's so much weaponry on that team. I'm with Dan. We're laying a lot of points this week. It makes me nervous. I'm going to lay the points too. I'm going to lay the full touchdown to 7. We're both on the Chiefs minus 7. Buffalo Bills, next game up on the slate. They are minus 3. They go out to play the Las Vegas Raiders. We've touched on both these teams. I tell you what, the Bills are playing good football. They are. Defense gave up quite a few points, especially late, to the Rams. Josh Allen is in the MVP conversation through 3 weeks. He's playing really good football, and he looks like he's going to be the long-term solution out in Buffalo. I know we both like them. We talked about them. We think they're going to conquer the AFC East this year. Over-under on this game is 52.5. I'm a fan of the Raiders as well. The Bills are minus 3. Who do you like in this game?
I'm going to go with the Raiders here. Bills had a tough game. but now you're traveling to the desert, going to play the Raiders at their place. I think the Raiders pull this one out.
I like the Raiders too. I mean, I don't know if they win this game. I think it's a field goal game. I'm going to hedge my bet here. I'm going to take the 3 points with the Raiders as well. I think that's the proper play here. So yeah, we're both on the Raiders. We are on to Sunday Night Football, a game that probably looked a heck of a lot better on paper when the season started before it does now. The Philadelphia Eagles go out to play the San Francisco 49ers. I call them the 24.5ers. They are certainly decimated with injuries. The 49ers are -7. The over-under on this game is 45.5. I'm going to start with Wentz again. The Eagles are very fortunate they're not 0-3. They're 0-2-1. They ended up with a tie with the Bengals last week. But they scored with less than 30 seconds left on the clock to shove that game into overtime, and then nobody could really do anything and end up tied. And they're not out of their division. That division is so bad that they're half a game out of first place at 0-2-1. San Francisco, on the other hand, plays in probably the best division in the NFC for sure. I mean, you got the Rams, you got the Cardinals, you got the Seahawks, you got the 49ers. That division potentially could steal all 3 of the wild cards in the NFC. They're that good. I don't know. I mean, Wentz turned the ball over again 2 times. I think that's 6 turnovers for him on the year through 3 games. The 49ers backup quarterback Mullins played pretty darn well. I mean, I know it was the Giants. I'm going to go unconventional here. The wounded animal. I like Peterson as the coach of the Eagles. I hope they come up with a good game plan here. I'm going to take the points. I think it's a lot closer game than 7. My pick is the Eagles +7.
Philadelphia is awful close to where those New York teams play, so I don't know if it's rubbing off on them. There's something in the water going on, maybe to kill the COVID. But yeah, the Eagles just don't look like you would think.
They're getting 7. What do you think? You like the 49ers to cover the number?
I'm going to go with the Eagles in this one. They have to get better. They have to play better. I mean, jobs are on the line now.
What about a package for Hurts? I mean, Hurts is kind of a running quarterback.
We got in a little bit, not much last week, but yeah, I mean, they got to do something to get creative. The 49ers are decimated. They lucked out. They had the Giants on the last week's schedule. But I'm going to go with the Eagles on this one.
I am too. I would like to see a little package for the Hurts, for Hurts coming at quarterback. We're both taking the 7 points, hoping it goes under that number on Sunday night. Monday Night Football, the Atlanta Falcons go to play the Green Bay Packers. I'm guessing this is going to be somewhat of a shootout. Packers are -7.5. The over-under on this game is 58. I think Dan's trying to take another pot shot at my brother-in-law Teddy. I'm not sure what he's doing over there clapping.
I just can't wait to see another blown lead.
I tell you what.
Blown lead.
We talked.
This is set up perfect. Aaron Rodgers is going to go down the last drive of the game, and they're going to win.
I tell you what. We talked about Gase losing his job at the very top of when we started picking the slate of games. Dan Quinn's like, hold my beer. They've lost 2 15-point leads in the fourth quarter in back-to-back weeks. In Dallas, at home against my Chicago Bears.
At some point, it's the players, not the coach.
I don't know. I mean, I agree with you. They're on the field, but he certainly is his seat is hot. I mean, it's flaming hot. Packers, like I said, mentioned -7.5. I mean, Rodgers just rolling. I mean, they went down to New Orleans. I know there's no crowd there. I mean, it would be probably different game. Because that place is so loud. But he didn't have Devontae Adams with him last week. It didn't really matter. Rodgers doing Rodgers things, I guess. I hate saying that. I can't stand the Packers. I think we all know that by now. What do you think?
This one's tough. 7.5 is a big number.
The hook is here. The hook is present.
Atlanta does play well. I think Green Bay pulls it out, but I don't know if it's going to be by 7 or 7.
Over the 7. I agree with you completely. I mean, the Falcons are wounded. They're obviously a talented football team, especially on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, I think we're going to get some back and forth here. I think the Falcons find a way to get this under the number as well. Both Dan and I are somewhat surprisingly on the Falcons getting the 7.5 points.
I'll take the Falcons, but I'll still make fun of them.
Fair enough. That is the entire slate. We promised you an extra bonus pick because college football, like we said, is much more in the swing. The best game on the slate, the college football slate, is number 7 Auburn traveling to Athens, Georgia to play the Georgia Bulldogs between the hedges at night. Georgia's -7. Let's talk about both teams. Last week, I wasn't terribly impressed by either team. Auburn played Kentucky. Bo Nix is in his sophomore year there. It was all right. They started out sluggish. They came around. Now, Georgia, on the other hand of things, Georgia, they do get the USC transfer this week. He got cleared to play, JT Daniels. Last week, they started a guy, and then they were down. I think the score was 7-5 at the halftime. Obviously, they were playing poorly. There was a walk-on. When's the last time you've seen a walk-on quarterback for the University of Georgia play? He played the entire second half. They won going away. They won by 3 scores. I don't know. I haven't seen JT Daniels play yet. Obviously, he had kind of that star-crossed career in USC, as short as it was. The line's Georgia -7. I think I'm going to take the points with Auburn here. I think Georgia very well may win this game, but I'm going to go ahead and take the points with the Auburn Tigers.
With Auburn. I like Nix. I think Nix is a good quarterback, and I think Auburn plays with some attitude. I think they can handle Georgia. So I'm definitely taking Auburn in this on the road.
Hang with us. That is the entire slate of the National Football League Week 4. We gave you the bonus pick of the college football. We generally do something at the end. It's in fall. It's fall here. It's a little bit chillier than I'm used to. My buddy Dan loves to wear shorts. He wears them year round. Don't be fooled. It's chilly out here. There's a heater behind the camera. In any event, we are going to do 2 superstars of the whiskey world, Jack Daniels and Jim Beam, apple-flavored whiskey. It comes up next. All right, we told you we have 2 superstars of the bourbon and whiskey world. It is Jack Daniels, in my right hand, Jim Beam in the other. I know they're small. I poured a shot of each for Dana and I. Everybody knows where Jack is, Lynchburg, Tennessee. Jim Beam is made in Kentucky. I want to say it's Claremont. I'm not positive. I think we got a much better competition this week than we had with Ugly Dog and Old Smoky last week.
Oh.
I have no idea. We got a B and a D underneath each of our cups. They were made by my wife. We have no idea which one's which. We're each gonna take one, see what we have, and then try the other, and then we'll give you our decision on which one we like the best.
I think the dog beer was better than the other challenge than
Apple. Here it goes. High elbows.
peanut butter crap.
I can taste the apple.
Taste the apple.
Yeah. I think this is going to be a much closer competition. We have to clear. So put it down. I have no idea. Like I said, there's a B or a D underneath it. This is going to be tough. I'm not ready yet. That was sweet. All right, here we go. Round 2. Warms the belly.
I think they're both good. If I had to guess, this one's the Jack Daniels.
Well, which one do you like better? That's not the question.
I like them both. I can't even.
Both?
I can't. Both are good.
All right.
Well, we should have had the Crown Royal one too.
Right? Well, hey, this is a family podcast. I'm going with this one right here. Tell me which one you like better.
This one, the second one.
All right. I got B. I got Beam. I chose Jim Beam. And he's got the D. He chose Jack Daniels. I think he's right. You can tell a little bit of difference. There's certainly more of that Tennessee signature Jack Daniels taste in theirs. I think the Beam was a little bit sweeter. But anyway, it was a better. Certainly a better. Mix that with a little apple cider, maybe a cinnamon stick. Go to the pumpkin patch, right?
An ice cube would work.
All right, very good. That has been week 4 of On Top the Cage. Thank you for listening. Thank you for viewing. I'm sure we're going to pick some winners. I feel good about this week. We're going to continue to, hopefully we'll be at the quarter pole, stacking 4 straight positive weeks. For my co-host, Dan, I am Ken. Good luck.
See ya.